On this week's episode of the Geek State, happy May the 4th. We got some exciting news to share about a favorite Clone Wars actor returning to the screen.
We've learned that Hasbro's new Captain America figure does not come with a side of wings.
Being that it's the week of May the 4th, we put together a list of the best songs from inside the Star Wars galaxy. Get ready to Lapti Nek with us this week on the Geek State.
Miss Snooty's basic movements were provided by puppeteer Tim Rose, working below her stage. His legs were connected to hers by rods, so she could duplicate his steps precisely.
Stand by alert.
This is it!
This episode features exclusive new content from George Lucas fans. This is the Geek State.
Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of The Geek State. This is the podcast about all the cool stuff going on in the world of geek and everybody. It is May the 4th. Well, this show's coming out before May the 4th, but it is our Star Wars episode that we have some really cool stuff to go through in the world of music in Star Wars, but I can't do that all by myself. I've got to have my good buddy James. And James, sir, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing quite well. You said that as if I was the Shepard of this topic, and I believe that it's the other way around, that I could not do this topic without you.
I will definitely say it's not as much fun if I just rattle on about my love of Star Wars music, and particularly, James, we're talking about the music that is inside the films, the music that our characters, our heroes, can hear inside the scene. So
that's right.
So that's going to be a fun one, and that's coming up a little bit later on in the show. At the top, though, I do want to mention if you were one of the awesome folks and listeners, members of the Geek Stick, man, everybody's awesome. But some people went above and beyond last week and shared our posts on Twitter, on our Instagram stories, on Facebook. And if I saw it, I reached out to you and got your mailing address, and you've got some really cool stuff headed your way. I dropped stuff, a big bundle of things off into the mail. And I do want to say that because James and I are awesome and don't want to toot our own horns, we're going to wait on keeping stickers for ourselves. I'm going to place another order. So that means I've got some more stickers, James.
Oh, very exciting. How could one potentially procure one of these stickers, Chris?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So here's the thing. All we need you to do is share about the show. So we post on social media, and just give it a share, a retweet, maybe add your own commentary to it, recommend us to your friends. That way the show can grow, and I'll send you some stickers. It's not bribery, James. This is just, so it's part of the perks. Yeah.
It's friendship.
I like that. So we're going to be, I've got a few more. So if you didn't share last week and you meant to, you can still do it. I've got a few more. We'll place another order for stickers, and we'll keep the gravy train rolling so everybody gets a sticker that wants one, because I think that's, it's just a cool thing to do. We've been doing this going on 3 years, and it's about time that the members of the Geek State have something to show off. We've got somebody who's already committed to putting it on the back of their truck. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So mutual friend of ours, of course. Also I would like for anybody who does get a sticker to send us a picture of where that sticker ends up. So if you're throwing it on a like a coffee tumbler or the back of your laptop or
side of a trash can.
Yeah. Well, maybe not like a public trash can.
Oh, okay. No. I meant the one you roll out to the street.
Yeah.
You identify it as your own.
Exactly. Yeah. So no one's going to steal it. So that's stickers. Those are on the way. If you helped us out last week, you can do it again this week and get some stickers for yourself. So on last week's episode, we did this weird thing because James, Mortal Kombat hit HBO Max the day that the show dropped, which means we didn't get a chance to see it ahead of time and talk about it on the show. But we did do our review preview last week. Right. At this point now, we both have seen Mortal Kombat. So before we dive into Star Wars and our news, I got to know, James, what are your thoughts on the new Mortal Kombat film?
I thought it was a fine Mortal Kombat film. I thought that the plot was really, really bad. I thought that I don't know whether they did it by mistake or what, but they named that protagonist a specific name that is very close to another name in the universe, and it doesn't make sense that they didn't go down that route. I don't know how much you want me to say, but
no, I think you know what, it's fine.
So everyone knows who knows Mortal Kombat that there's two Sub-Zeros. There's Bi-Han and there's Kuei Luang, very similar to Cole Young, and that is Bi-Han's younger brother. Bi-Han kills Sub-Zero or Scorpion's family. Scorpion gets his revenge, kills Bi-Han. Then he finds out that he has killed Bi-Han was under kind of the influence of Quan Chi, who is the leader of the Nether Realm, and then he vows to protect Kuei Luang from Noob Sabat, who is who Bi-Han becomes after being Sub-Zero, then goes after Scorpion. I don't know why that wasn't the plot of this movie.
Well, let me tell you what, just listening to you explain that sounds like maybe the reason why, but I know that you hinted last week.
They introduced 48 fucking characters. Oh, sorry, I can't say that. But they introduced 48 characters. They couldn't do that? Like, make it more focused and like make a plot?
It does seem weird that there weren't a lot of characters in this adaptation. Like, looking back at the one from 1995, which by the way is on Peacock if you want to watch it for free,
or HBO.
Is it on? Did they drop it finally on HBO Max?
I thought so. The Armageddon's on there. I assume the other one's on there.
Oh, well, last I looked, it was on. It's free. It's free on Peacock if you want to slum it over there with ads. But last week when we were talking, you were kind of hinting like you felt pretty good. Like you had this like pretty good theory
I thought for sure that Cole Young was going to be Kuei Luang and Luang, or however you pronounce it.
I was kind of thinking he was going to be.
He would be the next Sub-Zero. I knew that obviously he was going to be like either the descendant of that baby or the baby. But I thought that the reason Sub-Zero would have gone there was because that was his younger brother, and he was trying to get him back.
Interesting.
To begin with. And that something would happen with the baby. Baby would get away with Scorpion or something.
I could definitely see, with you knowing so much more about the lore and the stories of this world, that you could go down that path. I was thinking that Cole would end up being Scorpion. Like, he would be like the new Scorpion.
Right.
Kind of a
Which
thing.
Which is kind of the route that they went, but not.
No,
Scorpion then went back to the... I mean, I don't want to... Yeah, whatever.
No, it's fine. If you're listening to the show, you expect some of this stuff. If you're a big fan of Mortal Kombat, you had a whole week to watch it.
Also, why did he like all of a sudden just get this weird like latex armor?
Yeah.
And then when he's fighting Goro, like he's absorbing the the punches, but they never revisited that. Like he was being charged up by Goro's punches,
right?
Like storing kinetic. I guess he was taking kinetic energy and storing it as potential energy that he could then release kinetically. But it was just weird. Like they did it for that fight, and then it like didn't play out when he fought Cabal.
That's very true. Very true.
Weird. Or Melina.
I don't know.
I don't remember who he fought.
The thing was a little bit weird. It's weird that this is a movie that, had I paid money to see it in theaters, I would have a much more critical review of it. I would be like, oh my gosh, this garbage. It's a terrible movie. It's not very good. But it's different when there's such a drought of event type movies that while I can't not watch a movie and have that critical eye for stuff, I can't say that I didn't enjoy it. And I didn't even mind all of the references to the video game that were very much like in your face. Like, yeah, I think honestly, I enjoyed a lot of that stuff more than other parts of the film. Like one of the things that cracked me up, and I don't remember, I would think it was, I'm terrible with character names. The guy with hat, guy
with Raiden.
No, the other one.
Kung Lao.
Kung Lao. There's a training scene where he just keeps sweeping his leg, and I just was like having flashbacks of playing Mortal Kombat with my friends, and that's the only move they would continuously do, and I would fall for it every single time, and I was like just cracking up.
The only one that really bothered me was the giant Katana's fan in the middle of one of the scenes. It was like just the big blue fan that was in the background, but it like took up the whole screen. I was like, why? Like, come on. Why?
I was wondering. There? I was like, are we to assume that she's dead? I
don't know. I'm not assuming anything. I assumed that this movie was going to have a decent plot, Chris.
Well, you would think that a Mortal
Cole Young was going to be somebody that I know in the universe. When you've got a franchise with so many good characters, like lots of characters to choose from, and then you just like introduce a new character, it just seems very strange to me. Also, the idea that Kung Lao, it's like Kung Lao and Liu Kang. Kung Lao is like an old guy. Liu Kang is like, I don't know. It's just confusing.
There's a whole lot. Last week, I know I talked about like, well, this makes sense. It's a new character. We can see it's kind of like the audience's guide through this storyline. But your point being that there's a bajillion characters that most people have never heard of. Like if you think of Mortal Kombat, you think of the ones that are in the song, the one that are listed out. Anybody else, unless you're diehard and you played the games, you could bring a lesser known character and let us have their origin story and let it play out.
This movie even had characters that I had never even heard of, like the flying girl. She's from like one of the PlayStation 2 games, apparently. I don't know.
Weird.
The Bat Lady.
I think the weirdest thing is, James, is this movie is called Mortal Kombat, and there's not actually a Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah. I mean, I know that obviously they're teeing it up for a sequel. Honestly, I kind of think this should be better played if as like a HBO series.
Yeah. Well, that's what I actually watched this with my brother. We were like in separate locations, but started it at the same time. And that's what I said is like, why did we get a Snyder cut of the Justice League? I want 4 hours of this. I want time to build these characters out. Like, it's like, it was just so strange. Like Jax like got his arms torn off and then all of a sudden didn't have his arms torn off, or not didn't have his arms torn off, but like was picked up by, I assume, Liu Kang and brought to that temple. And like, they just skipped over that whole thing and how that happened. And like, you know what I mean?
Rushed.
It was just a little weird.
Exactly.
If they would have had 4 1-hour episodes, I think it would have been much better.
I agree.
And maybe you could have had a tournament.
Yeah, I could see like a season 1 being both sides trying to build, their teams up to, and the season finale is like a 2-parter, and it takes place like actually like this is the Mortal Kombat. Here are the stakes, because that's the other thing. They did an okay job of kind of like setting up what the stakes are. Like, oh, they've already won 9 times. If they win 10, but I think I wanted maybe some more of that weird lore to really set up the world and let me understand why this is such a bad thing for the bad guys to win. Don't just tell me once. Like show me maybe a period. Like I don't know the lore, so I don't know if this has ever happened. But maybe start the movie out even further back with like a Mortal Kombat tournament from millennia ago. Like however long this thing's been going on.
When the great Kung Lao won last.
Yeah, or something like. And show
then there's
me
been 9 losses.
Yeah. It's like, show me something that shows me especially if you're going to do a Mortal Kombat movie without a Mortal Kombat, show us one from the past to kind of give us an idea of like, what is this?
Also from the like shots that they showed of Outworld, that seems like a pretty easy place to take over if we just wanted to take it over as Earthrealm. There wasn't anything going on in that place. There was no infrastructure. There was one big old tower that Shang Tsung was hanging out on. So I don't know why we can't just mosey over there with one AC-130 and just start dropping some bombs on that bad boy.
Yeah, because Sub-Zero will freeze everybody. It's done and done. No, your point exactly. It was very sparse. It was like literally.
It looked like somebody had already blown it up.
Yeah. So true. I don't have like a rating for this thing, but it's one of those things where if you grew up with Mortal Kombat, you're going to watch this movie. I think you'll have a good time enjoying it. It seems like everybody did. It seems like everybody enjoyed it, but we all have the same critiques of it. Sonya Blade,
a flawless victory.
No. Sonya Blade was terrible. The plotting, the story structure, various things, but it had enough to be satisfying. Like Kano steals the show is funny. That's pretty universal, I think, but
right.
So that's our Mortal Kombat. If you have thoughts on Mortal Kombat, let us know. If we are totally off track and you think that we are wrong and it was a masterpiece, we want to know. So let us know on social media. Let's head over to the news. So being that it's May the 4th, well, it's the week of May the 4th, so we'll just make this a whole Star Wars week celebration. This Star Wars Clone Wars Anakin Skywalker, Matt Lanter, has told, was it Entertainment Weekly recently in an interview, that his days as Anakin Skywalker are not yet over, which is pretty cool if you're a Clone Wars fan. We don't really know what it means, but what he said was there's some new Lucasfilm animation going on. I've been part of some things that I can't talk about yet. But he says you'll see Anakin again. In the interview, he also said, I've never quite put Anakin down, whether I'm doing video game or something new for Lucasfilm. And I like that he mentioned whether I'm doing a video game or something for Lucasfilm Animation. So I'm like, okay, so he's not just talking about like, he's not going to be just voicing some new stuff for a mobile game or something like that, that Lucasfilm has something going on. Some Lucasfilm Animation's got something going on where Anakin is going to be in it, which I'm like, okay, is he talking about the Bad Batch? Is this a tease for the Bad Batch? It does definitely seem like maybe there is some timing to this interview and the premiere of the Bad Batch. Right. So I gotta ask James, because I know that you have your watch of the Clone Wars has been a bit hit or miss. You haven't, I don't think, made it through the whole thing.
I've not.
But when it comes to the Bad Batch in this new series that starts May the 4th with a 70-something minute episode, and then there's the second episode actually drops a few days later on that Friday. Do you know when in the Star Wars timeline that Bad Batch takes place?
I do not. If I had to guess, it would be right after Order 66.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so great.
Is that wrong? Right?
No, you're absolutely correct. I think from what we know,
that's what I thought.
You were right.
They didn't want to kill the Jedi is what I was guessing.
Well, that's what we're going to find out. So so we know that there are a few clones that had the inhibitor chip removed. One of them being Rex. Echo is also without them. And we don't really know how the Bad Batch crew that we saw at the end of the final season of Clone Wars reacts to Order 66. So I don't know if this starts right at Order 66 so we can see. But the whole point of the Bad Batch is they are defective clones, that they have anomalies in their genetic makeup that make them really good at certain things. So in a lot of ways, this is like kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where you're putting together a team. You've got somebody who's really strong. You got someone who's just got really good, like Hunter is like, he's really smart. He's got good instincts. He's a natural leader. You have Tech, which he's good at tech stuff. And you've got Crosshair, who is really good at snipers. He's got really good eyesight. And then Echo joins the team as a cybernetic clone, because in the 7th season he's all hooked up to machines and he's got cybernetics and stuff. So that's going to be a really interesting thing to take place. And I know, James, that you have not seen it all, and you might, and some people listening might be like, you know what, I want to give Bad Batch a try. I want to start fresh, but I don't want to have to watch 7 seasons of the Clone Wars to make sense. So you're absolutely correct. This is taking place right after Order 66, or right at the beginning of Order 66, as seen in Revenge of the Sith. So if you're looking to kind of get a little bit of background on who these guys are and what the players are, StarWars.com has a great article called What to Watch Before Star Wars The Bad Batch. And the first one right out of the gate, if you're wanting to just get the bare essentials, is to watch the 4 episodes of that the Bad Batch appear in the Clone Wars, which is I think just the Bad Batch, and this is season 7, A Distant Echo, On the Wings of Caradak, and Unfinished Business. So those are 4 episodes from season 7 that introduce the whole crew, and that'll give you an idea of kind of the world that we're in and who these people are. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more, because it's going to go into this, to learn a bit more about Clone Force 99 and Echo, you're going to want to go back to some older seasons. Now, this is going to sound confusing, James, because back in the Clone Wars days, they didn't air all of these episodes chronologically. There were, in those first few seasons, they were like back and forth. So if you want to watch the introduction of Echo, you have to go back to season 3, and the episode's called Clone Cadets. It's amazing. And you'll see the introduction of these guys. Then you're going to jump back to season 1 and watch Rookies. And then back to season 3 to watch ARC Troopers and the Citadel, which is also season 3. And then let's see, another season 3 episode called Counterattack. So the Citadel and Counterattack are part of the same story arc. So give you just some idea of like what to watch. Definitely check out the 4 episodes of season 7 where the Bad Batch are introduced before getting into this. I think it's a really good introduction to their characters. I
will do that. Thank you for that thorough piece of information.
I'll link to it. I know that was a lot. That was a whole lot, James. I'm just kidding. I'm overwhelmed. Yeah, no.
I was writing it all down as fast as I could.
Sure you were. I've been waiting like 7 years for you to watch the Clone Wars.
Is season 7 the season that they did for Disney Plus?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So it's part of the arc that it's part of that season that Disney Plus brought back last year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. But we kind of hinted at this the last episode, I believe, about kind of Hasbro spoiling the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. But they have released the new Captain America figure. Surprise, surprise. It is Sam Wilson, formerly Falcon. In the new Cap, they've released a pretty cool figure of him. You get Sam, you get the shield. But unfortunately, if you want the wings, you're going to have to buy a bunch of figures. You got to get Bucky. You got to get US Agent. You got to get Zemo. You're going to have to get Wanda, White Vision, and Loki to get all the parts of Sam's wings. So
it's the so Hasbro has done these Marvel Legends figures, and they've done these things where it's like buy all these and you can build a new character. This is the most expensive pair of plastic wings I've ever seen. Each of these figures are $19.99, James.
Holy cow.
Yeah. You have to buy the whole wave to get the wings. It's insane.
That's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, that's $150 worth of characters, or 140 plus the tax.
And it's not like you can sell the figures. I mean, I guess you could sell them loose on eBay and just keep the wings, but Jesus.
Even not for $20.
No, not for $20. You know what I would give $20 for?
You know what you could do is you could probably just sell the parts of the wings if you wanted a US Agent soldier.
That's so true. Yeah.
So all you US Agent fans out there, go ahead and get it and make sure you throw those wings on eBay.
Yeah, I will say, James, fans of the Amazon series Invincible, which is based on the Robert Kirkman comic, are pretty happy today because not only was it renewed, announced today that it was renewed for the 2nd season, it has been renewed for a 3rd season, which is incredible news. And we haven't talked about it. I brought it up last couple shows ago as my pick of the week. But if you haven't seen it, again, it's not for kids, even though it's a cartoon. It's really good. Like it's a show that I have watched weekly. Like every week they drop a new episode, and God, it's so good. And I think it plays really well animated, more than it ever probably could have been had it been live action. So something to add to your watch list if you haven't yet checked it out.
Yeah, I mean, you could either add that to your watch list, or you could start counting your money, because Blue Origin sent out a tweet with a link to an application on its website for people to sign up to learn how you can buy and be the very first seat on the new Shepard rocket. All you have to do is you just have to give them a full name, email, and phone number, and an announcement's going to come out to you on May 5th. Essentially, the Shepard rocket is a 5-story tall rocket designed to launch a crew capsule with seats for 6. Hang on. Yeah, seats for 6. Sorry. There was a weird comma there. It threw me off. Seats for 6, roughly 340,000 feet into the sky towards the edge of space. Paying tourists can experience a few minutes of weightlessness in microgravity and witness super high altitude views of Earth. Maybe you'll be able to see the curve. Maybe not.
But you know what? We'll be sure Amazon will have your money. Bezos will have your money. What's weird is, I mean, I guess besides the view that you'll get from that high of an altitude, like the microgravity thing you can get for probably a lot cheaper on like the Vomit Comet. Like those, the airplanes.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm curious.
I don't, but that's not really microgravity, is it? That's like playing with gravity where they just go up really high and then they dive down really fast.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I mean, if you want to get sciencey, you know,
it's just dropping of altitude very fast.
Correct. It's like riding a roller coaster. Sometimes you get that feeling,
except it just lasts longer.
I mean, nobody that's on Twitter. I mean, not nobody, but I mean, come on, like who can afford this? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's going to be very expensive. If they're only able to charge 6 people and it's launching 340,000 feet in the air, it's going to be expensive.
Take up your visuals, counting.
This is a feature presentation.
And now, on with the show.
Cy Snoodles, lead singer in Java's band, began her career as a dancer. But Max Rebo was first and last a keyboard artist.
James, it's not debatable. Without the incredible score by John Williams, Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope wouldn't have been what it is. But that's the score. We're talking about the John Williams score that fills in all those epic scenes. That's the music that we hear, the audience. There's also music in the Star Wars galaxy. Sometimes you forget, you're watching the movie, you hear the music, but there's music that our heroes and villains can hear in the scene. The technical term for this, and a lot of times it's called source music, but it's also called diegetic music. And it's the music that takes place within the scene, like whether it's, playing by a band or it's heard over speakers. A lot of times in Star Wars, it's from a live performance in the scene.
Thank God.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine the Han Solo like turning on the holo, and listening to whatever galactic Spotify they have. But I'm sure in the books or somewhere that something like that exists because, they can't have coffee. It has to be calf. And if it's going to be the restroom, it's got to be called a fresher because everything is different in Star Wars because it's fake and in space.
Well, it's a galaxy far, far away. You can't expect everything to be the same, can you, Christopher?
No, I can't. And thankfully, because it wouldn't be Star Wars. Star Wars is Star Wars because everything's just a little kooky. But because it's May the 4th, I have gone through just about every source music cue from the saga, from the show, and I kind of put together some of these are more of like my personal favorites that we're going to go through, and I've got a few honorable mentions from some unlikely places that we'll also be playing. So this is going to be a fun musical journey through the source music of Star Wars. And James, I'm going to start off with number 7 on our list, and this one is coming from a newer film. This is from The Force Awakens, and it's a song by an artist named Shag Kava, who is secretly Lin-Manuel Miranda. And we're going to play some of his song Jabba Flow, which was heard in the Maz Kanata scene from The Force Awakens.
Oh, Jabba. Bata tutu muni muni, bata tutu muni muni, bata tutu muni muni. Ugunik, ugunik,
So interesting little backstory behind this. J.J. Abrams was at a musical a performance of Hamilton, and at the end of the show, as it happens with famous people, Lin-Manuel Miranda met up with Abrams right afterwards, and at that time, Abrams was known to be making a new Star Wars, and Lin-Manuel is a huge Star Wars fan and was like, "Hey, I'd love to make some Cantina music if it's needed." And some time went by. Abrams later contacted Miranda, and the two wrote the piece. In fact, I think J.J. Abrams gets credit on this track because he's, I think, singing part of there's parts of the song where he's actually singing. Now, I have some translated, because this song is in Huttese, James, which neither of us fluently speak. But I thought this was funny. So in the song, it says, "No bata tutu mooney mooney," which roughly translated is "No lover, lover, it wasn't me." And Lin-Manuel Miranda is basically like, yeah, this is basically Shaggy's "It Wasn't Me" for Star Wars. Like, that's what this song is about. Very good. Why is it called Jabba Flow then? I don't. Is he singing that to somebody? Is he? What does that have to do with Jabba? Lin-Manuel Miranda. I mean, it's never said in the scene, so I don't know. I mean, it does say "No Jabba." It's in there, but right. But that's Jabba Flow by Shag Kava. Or maybe in at number something in Huttese that we don't know. Maybe so. Who knows? Maybe Jabba the Hutt. I don't know. Yeah. Well, it's coming in at number 7. Number 7, and up next we have the Gregorian chant of the Star Wars universe, and that would be Squid Lake from Revenge of the Sith. You will remember this from a scene where Anakin is at, I assume you would call it a play or some sort of show. Much like, I assume that it gets this name because they're looking at a bunch of squids in suspended water, and it's like Swan Lake from the Nutcracker. And yeah, it's just chance, and it picks up. It just so happens to pick up, when Chancellor Palpatine is talking about death and how you can bring things back to life. It's really weird how that all lined up for them, but it's a fine tune, but very much a Gregorian chant of music. I really like that old Chief Palpatine has seen Squid Lake probably a million times, that he knew exactly when to start talking about the it only legend, makes sense, right? Yeah. This is like, he never misses a performance on Coruscant. He's like, oh, the Mon Cal Ballet is in town. We're gonna go see this. Number 5 on the list is coming from The Phantom Menace. One of my favorite Star Wars movies, not lying. This is from the finale, and this is part of the Star Wars thing. We've got a big celebration scene. I really love this track. This is Augie's Great Municipal Band. So that's coming in at number 5. Number 5 on the list, Augie's Great Municipal Band from The Phantom Menace. I just have to tell you, I didn't get to make this list, and that is horribly underrated. This should be number 1 or 2 at worst, with the Gungans on the beat, and you got the Nabooians. I assume that's what they're called. The people of Naboo singing the Vokes. Okay, so debate. Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, coming up on the list though, there's some stuff that's just like, Oh, it's just very
I'll
Star
let you
Wars.
know why. I'll let you know about some of these ones that are coming up.
Oh yeah, I've got a very controversial number 1. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll let you know about some of these. But number 4, we have a very, very exciting song that most people will know as the Ewok Celebration song, but the real ones know it as Yub Nub.
This is one of the songs that I was the most sad about when it came to the special editions, James, because when 1997 rolled around and we got the new Return of the Jedi, with the new special effects, blah blah blah, this song was removed and replaced with a new song, still scored by John Williams, and it's a great song, but Yub Nub was gone, and there was a little bit of sadness, but have no fear, James, because Yub Nub has been recanonized because it was alluded to by a description in the 2015 children's novel of Return of the Jedi called Beware the Power of the Dark Side. So it is no longer Legends, because when George makes a change to the movie and the movie takes something out, it becomes no longer canon. But thankfully, this children's book has brought Yub Nub back. And I've got another song that has had a similar fate. It's coming in at number 3 from the Max Rebo Band with vocals by our girl Why can't I say this? Cy Snootles, with lyrics by Joseph Williams, John Williams' son. Here's Lapti Nek at number 3.
So, aku ceki his jauh. We was jazz plastic sources hot. Can we test for more? Quick, make me a gizin on. Lapti Nek said nothing. Jazz plastic sources hot. Lapti Nek, run around Jack, what's your big we up?
This is like such a weird thing to have happened in, like, when I remember watching Return of the Jedi and this whole elaborate musical number was going on. I remember as a kid being like, what is going on here? Like,
yeah, it's very strange.
Very, very strange to see Cy Snootles. I really love, there's an old behind the scenes documentary called From Star Wars to Jedi. And we got to see them, how they made the Cy Snootles puppet and like how they, how they worked it. And she could only like open and close her mouth. It was open, close, open, close. Funny, and again, kind of an interesting thing, this song being by the son of John Williams, Joseph Williams, he there's an English version as well that he was written in English first, then translated into Huttese for the film. So just for the sake of having music in a podcast, this is sort of a commentary documentary, for fair use. So here is a clip from the English version of Lapti Nek.
Feel my body growing. My bones have started glowing. That time has come to show it. That'll shake you up and work you out. Lapti Nek, you gotta move so you gotta feel the heat. Lapti Nek, keep a hammer whip, just keep a beat. Lapti Nek, gotta move so you gotta feel the heat.
So this is another song, James, that was removed from the film, so it was no longer canon. When the '97 release came out. However, James, the song Lapti Nek has been recanonized by, drumroll, Star Wars Card Trader. So the Star Wars Topps trading card apparently can count as canon. This is according to Wikipedia, because it is approved content. So apparently Star Wars Card Trader is responsible for Lapti Nek being recanonized, and it's a good thing.
Thank God. Thank God. Unfortunately, Lapti Nek was not the first instance on screen of Star Wars canonized in universe music.
No.
I think that goes to this one, which would be the Cantina band song, Mad About Me, by Figurin' D and the Modal Nodes.
Figurin' Dan.
Figurin' Dan. Oh, sorry. It's Figurin' Dan. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
The notes, yeah. D apostrophe A-N followed by and. My eyes just skipped the A-N there.
Yeah, it's Star Wars. It's
Figurin'
like
Dan.
Figurin' Dan in the
And
modal.
this is like the most iconic song, in-universe song. I think 90% of people would know that this is from Star Wars, right?
Absolutely.
If I were to play any of these other ones and they'd be like, I don't know what that's from. But this one, they're like, oh, this is it.
That's that Star Wars Cantina song. Now, there's a bunch of songs. There's a few of them from the modal nodes on. So this is kind of taking all of the Figurin' Dan and the modal node songs from A New Hope and putting them at number 2 on the list. And here it is, the most iconic one, which is Cantina Band number 1, Mad About Me. Now, if you can't get enough of Figurin' Dan and the modal nodes, because James, I know that you just put together a playlist right now.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, you're probably wondering, Figurin' Dan, who are these guys? What have they been doing? Figurin' Dan and the Modal Nodes is a 7-member band, and they performed, all over. They were, pretty popular at the time. They're most known for their song "Mad About Me," but there are more songs available not only on the A New Hope soundtrack, but you can find some brand new music, and I'm talking new, like two and a half years ago, from Figurin' Dan and the Modal Nodes. You can find that on the Galaxy's Edge Oga's Cantina soundtrack that was released, called Rex's Playlist number 1. So if you go to Galaxy's Edge and you go to Oga's Cantina, Rex, who's the droid there, he's the DJ, and he frequently plays some new music from Figurin' Dan and the Modal Nodes. And if you want to hear that, you can go to Spotify or Apple Music and search for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and it'll pop up. Now, James, I'm assuming that my number 1 pick is the one that you may have some issues with.
For more reasons than one. I think that our number 5, the song from the end of Phantom Menace, should be number 2. Cantina Band number 1, and then this should be not even close to being on the list.
So I don't know why. I honestly can't tell you why I really like my number 1 song, and it's I think because I love Return of the Jedi. It's my favorite Star Wars film. It's different than you said, hey Chris, what's the best Star Wars film? Because you're not required, because it's not gatekeeping, but most people say Empire Strikes Back, right? That's the one that people say is the best. I personally favor Return of the Jedi, and Return of the Jedi didn't have a ton of changes in the special edition.
It was mostly ads.
Yeah,
mostly added stuff.
Right. It was just a little here and there, no major, the space battle didn't get all redone
and blinking Ewoks.
Well, that actually came later. The special,
or was that the Blu-rays or DVDs? I got you. Sorry.
And then the Blu-ray also got we got a Doug inserted into the background of Jabba's palace. So we got a lot of new things later down the road. But when Return of the Jedi came out in theaters for the special edition, there was a whole lot. But this was a major redo. And
we got it inside of a Sarlacc pit. That's what we got.
Oh, that's right. The Sarlacc pit's beak. And all that weirdness. So you can already tell what I'm going to get at, and you're probably rolling your eyes. But my number one pick
I'm trying to stall.
You're right. Is Jedi Rocks by Max Rebo, with vocals by Cy Snoodles and a Yuzum named Joe Yowza. Man, I don't know what it is. I just think that track slaps. I like it.
Here's my theory, Chris, about why I don't like this pick. Max Rebo Band wasn't even good in the Star Wars universe. Like, they weren't even like that popular. They were playing in a backroom bar owned by a gangster.
Well, there was a Robot Chicken one where I think Max Rebo, and again, this doesn't count because it's Robot Chicken, but Max Rebo's like trying to get around to gigs and everything's like blown up, by our heroes. Like, oh man.
Yeah, and do you think we would have that problem if Max Rebo was able to fill out a schedule?
Max Rebo is like, I think he's like a super popular keyboardist. Like, I think everybody
Max
knows.
Rebo's doing house shows, is what I'm telling you. And that's why he doesn't deserve to be number one. You have a whole race of people and unity coming together at the end of Phantom Menace. But you chose Max Rebo, the elephant pianist, and his stupid little band.
I like it. I like Jedi Rocks a lot.
I know you do.
I know. It's just... It's so weird and such a weird choice. Like, it's like George knew he could do it and no one could argue with him, and he did it anyways.
Max Rebo is like a Frank Sinatra impersonator, as far as I'm concerned, of the Star Wars universe. He's like at an Italian restaurant, just singing "Fly Me to the Moon" and "Mambo Italiano."
Okay, now I want to see this. Can we please get that somehow into like the Mandalorian? Can Max Rebo have survived the explosion on Jabba's? Maybe this is this is just totally dawned on me.
He did. I thought there was some sort of canon in which he did survive. I might be wrong about that.
I want this to be true. I want the Book of Boba Fett to have the surviving members of Max Rebo still there, having to perform for Bib Fortuna all this time.
That's the thing. We got a fat Bib Fortuna. I want a skinny Max Rebo.
From the stress, just there's so much stress because Bib Fortuna is like, play another one. I love it. We have some honorable mentions that I want to bring up. So they didn't make the top of the list, but there's a weird song. I don't know if I like it or I don't like it, but it's from Solo: A Star Wars Story. It's a song performed by the Chartreuse of the Stars, or Chantreuse. I can't pronounce it, and nor will I be able to pronounce the character's name. It's like Arodia Ventoful. I'm not even gonna try. The song is called "Chicken in the Pot." And it's just kind of like slow and weird. It kind of fits the scene.
Yeah, that one doesn't do it for me.
No, it doesn't. That's
but neither does the next honorable mention from Ewoks Battle for Endor. My Star, performed by, was her name like Cinderella or
I think Sindel, right? She sang it with Wilford Brimley.
My star keeps me company and leads me through the night.
Well, Wilford Brimley kind of sat there.
Well, yeah, with him, like here. I mean, Grandpa, want to hear me sing?
Isn't it crazy that Wilford Brimley, when that was filmed, was like the same age as Tom Cruise is now? Can we think about that for a second?
That's wild. That's absolutely wild. Next on the list, actually, I got two from the same thing. It's not canon, and neither is the Ewoks Battle for Endor.
It's real to me, damn it.
We're talking about the Star Wars Holiday Special. The first one being the finale, the final song in the whole thing. We've got Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia singing the now iconic cult favorite Life Day.
We celebrate a day of peace, a day of harmony, a day of joy.
It's just weird seeing Prince. It's just the whole thing is weird. We all agree. The holiday special is just super weird.
That was its move at trying, like the singing princess. That was its move at trying to be Disney before Disney bought them.
See, that it does solidify this Princess Leia as a Disney princess because
that's true. You have to have one song.
She's a strong character. She's a hero. People, she's just all around awesome, and also she sings. So there you go.
Sleeping Beauty wasn't much of a hero. Let's not get crazy.
Okay, truth. Have you there? But that's old. That's old Disney. New Disney is different. Also in the holiday special, this is one of my favorites. And it's weird because it's an Earth band in Star Wars. And we're talking about Jefferson's Starship with Light the Sky on Fire. So those are our picks for the best, weirdest, most interesting, or just personal favorite Star Wars source music. Now, there's a ton of it. If you go onto Wikipedia, or there's even a really good thread on Reddit, if you type in the source music of Star Wars, you can see a full list, and a lot of them have links to either YouTube videos or sound clips, so you can hear them themselves. There's actually some stuff that I hadn't even thought of or even considered to be source music from the Phantom Menace. There's the folk song of Mos Espa, I think, or it's like where you hear someone singing kind of in the background of a shot. There's some music from Rogue One during the some of the marketplace scene in Jeddah. So there's it's a really cool rabbit hole to kind of fall down on, and something different, and something maybe a cool and interesting thing to do after you watch The Bad Batch or before you watch The Bad Batch to help celebrate May the 4th. Oh, also, just throwing this in, if there's a song that you think should have been on this list, or maybe you disagree with how I ranked them, please let us know on social media.
Let's look around the region and take our pick of the week.
Shut up and take my money.
All right, it's time for our pick of the week. And being that it's May the 4th, it's Star Wars, I'm going to let you go first, James.
Well, Chris, thank you. I appreciate that. As we all know, I enjoy getting interested in things like between 5 and 10 years after they've run their course. And I've got to tell you, I've been really enjoying the first season of HBO's True Detective.
You're not kidding. That's like...
No, I'm not kidding.
That's everybody. When did that show premiere?
It had to have. I was definitely working at my current job, so it was within the last 12 years or the last 8 years.
Literally, so everybody was watching.
It was probably 6 or 7 years ago. I didn't know there were 3 seasons. I knew that there were 2, and that I heard the second one wasn't very good. So I'll probably just watch the first one, and that's why I chose it to watch, because it's only 8-10 episodes, and then you're done. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. I'm about 4 episodes in, and things are really heating up. That Matthew McConaughey is quite the actor.
Yeah, our future governor of Texas.
Only if you're lucky.
Only if we're lucky. All right. Something kind of came out of nowhere today, and it's made me really interested in reading the comics, because I feel like I've seen this comic before, and so was kind of sort of aware of it, but Netflix released a trailer for a show that's coming out this summer called what is it this summer? Gosh, now I'm bad, but it's coming soon from Netflix. It's called Sweet Tooth, and it's a comic adaptation from the DC, I think maybe Vertigo. I can't remember exactly what label it was under, but it's very like apocalyptic. There's a virus or something, and like I don't know anything about it. It looks great. I don't know what it's about, but it looks cool. And the trailer just came out today. So I recommend going and checking out the trailer and seeing if this is something that you should add to your watch list over on Netflix. And
executively produced by Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. So you know it's got to be good. It's got Will Forte. It's got MacGruber.
That's true. It does have MacGruber or the Last Man on Earth, depending on how you like to see your Will Fortes.
Yeah, this is definitely maybe the more Last Man on Earth, but like he's playing a serious role. The trailer, he's in it, and it's definitely more of that drama Will Forte that you're getting in this. But if that's not the Will Forte you want, then just wait a bit, because Peacock's making a MacGruber show. So you'll get both sides of your Will Forte if you want it. So that about does it for this week's episode of the podcast. If you are interested in helping us and supporting the show by sharing our content on social media, we would love it. In fact, we'd love it so much, I would like to send you a sticker while supplies last. Twitter's pretty easy for us to see when you share content, like if you retweet. But Instagram and Facebook are kind of iffy sometimes, depending on your privacy settings. So if you do share it and you're doing it for a sticker, just send me a direct message or whatever, and let me know that you did it, so that I can get a sticker out to you. That's it for this week on the podcast. Hope everybody has a great May the 4th. Celebrate Star Wars. Remember, Star Wars is for everyone. And stay excellent to each other, and we'll see you next time.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Do you remember that time that you put the We Are the World of the Star Wars universe at number 5?
It's because it's like,
it's inexcusable.
It's not as iconic. Like if I were to play it
it's not as iconic as Jedi Rocks.
It's not.
By Max Christopher.
It's not. It's not as iconic. I think if I played Jedi Rocks.
Also, why is that song even called Jedi Rocks? I thought at this time Jedi was like a thing that people didn't even know about anymore.
Oh, no, it's talking about actual rocks. Like these are rocks that Jedis had.
But Jedis aren't a thing. I
have no idea.
Wizards. Well, I guess did people know that they, I don't even know. I don't even like Star Wars anymore after this list. I'm done with Star Wars. James.
I'm
done with Star Wars. Until the Bad Batch releases, I'm done with Star Wars.